I'm going to tell you the 4 best ways to get to the Bahamas using travel points. What's up, Wise Flyers? Welcome to another video. If you're new here and you want to learn how to travel anywhere in the world almost free by using credit cards and travel points, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss a thing. Currently, I'm at the Viva Wyndham Fortuna Resort in the Bahamas right now, having a great time. I was able to stay here completely on points, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how you could get to the Bahamas using travel points. Before we get started, I just want to let you know a couple of things. I'm not going to include the tax price in this video, but going to the Bahamas from the US, it could be as cheap as $5.60, but going from the Bahamas back to the US, the taxes are pretty high and could be as high as $170 per person. Our very first option would be to use British Airways Avios points to get to the Bahamas. So British Airways has a unique award chart. It's distance based. So depending on where you're flying from and the distance it is to the Bahamas, that's going to determine the points price. So for example, if you were to go from certain places in the US to the Bahamas, it could be as little as 7,500 British Airways Avios points per way. So you could get a 15,000 Avios points round trip going from New York, LaGuardia Airport, Washington, D.C., and of course Miami, since it's so close. And I took a trip actually from Fort Lauderdale, and it was only 30 minutes to get to the Bahamas. So if you're coming from the other side of the country, it may be worth it to get a separate flight on British Airways to get to either New York for a nonstop flight or Washington, D.C. for a nonstop flight, or go all the way down to Miami for a nonstop flight to the Bahamas. And the way that you would search award availability is if you go to BritishAirways.com, you have to create an account. It's completely free. It takes 2 minutes with British Airways to check the award availability for flights to the Bahamas, or you could go to AA.com, which is AmericanAirlines.com, since that is the actual plane you're going to be flying to the Bahamas, because American Airlines and British Airways are partners, and you're going to be, even though you're going to be using British Airways Avios points, you're going to be flying on an American Airlines plane. So there are a few different options for you to get British Airways Avios points. You could go the credit card route. So if you get American Express cards, such as the American Express Platinum card or Gold card, or Chase cards, you could get the Chase FI Preferred, Chase FI Reserve, or Chase Ink Preferred. You could transfer either those American Express membership reward points or Chase Ultimate Reward points over to British Airways at a 1-to-1 ratio. You could also go for the British Airways Visa Signature card, which has 4 points per dollar for your first 30,000 in the first year. So if you spend 30,000 on this British Airways card in the first year, you'll get 120,000 British Airways Avios points. But to be honest, I think if you're going for the sign-up bonuses, you might be better off going for the American Express cards I mentioned or the Chase cards I mentioned, because it's with the British Airways Avios Signature card, it's not really a sign-up bonus. And if you want to earn British Avios points without a credit card at all, you could use their shopping portal and get up to 10 points per dollar spent there. The next best option would be to use JetBlue TrueBlue points, and the points price for JetBlue could be as little as 7,300 points for a one-way direct flight to Nassau, Bahamas. So you could get certain flights from JetBlue airports that would be nonstop. That would include Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, and even as high as JFK, New York, or Boston. If you look here, you could get a flight from Boston to Nassau, Bahamas for only 7,300 TrueBlue points and $5.60 in taxes, which is a great deal. So JetBlue gives you some really cheap options to get to the Bahamas. And to search for award availability for JetBlue flights, it's really simple. You don't even need to have an account with JetBlue. You just go to JetBlue.com and type in the airport that you're departing from to Nassau, Bahamas, and you can see all the different options and points prices. There's not much tricks here or options to leverage those points. And there are a few different options to get JetBlue TrueBlue points. You could go the credit card route, so you could either get Chase credit cards, as I mentioned in the example before with British Airways, or American Express credit cards, as I mentioned, or even Citi thank you points. But I don't recommend going the Citi thank you points route because the transfer ratio is 250 to 200. So it's not really worth it there compared to Chase. If you get the Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Sapphire Reserve, Chase Ink Preferred, transfers over to JetBlue at a 1-to-1 ratio. Or if you get the American Express Platinum or Gold card, same thing. American Express membership reward points transfer over to JetBlue at a 1-to-1 ratio. You can also get the Barclay JetBlue card, which is currently offering a sign-up bonus of 10,000 TrueBlue points and has no annual fee. Or you could get the JetBlue Plus card, which is offering a sign-up bonus of 40,000 JetBlue TrueBlue points with an annual fee of $99. And for both of these cards, you have to do a minimum spending of $1,000 in 3 months to get these JetBlue TrueBlue points. And the next cheap option would be to use Southwest Airlines. And the only problem with that is that the only direct flight to Nassau, Bahamas would be from Fort Lauderdale Airport. But the good news is that there are 45 other nonstop flights around the country with Southwest that go directly to Fort Lauderdale. So it could just be a 2-stop trip to the Bahamas. An important thing to know when using Southwest Rapid Reward points is that the points price correlates to the cash price. So if the points price or the cash price is high, the points price will be high as well. And this is where the Southwest Companion Pass could really help you out. The Southwest Companion Pass is basically a buy one, get one free ticket. So you get 2 tickets for the price of 1, and you only have to pay the taxes for the second ticket. And if you want to learn more about the Southwest Companion Pass, how to get it, how to use it, you can click the link above, and I have a video that explains everything you need to know when getting the Companion Pass. And to find award availability using Southwest Airlines, you just go to the southwest.com website and do basic searches from your departing airport to the Bahamas if you want. There's no tricks, there's no ways to leverage your points. It's basically straightforward award searching. And there are a few different ways that you could earn Southwest Rapid Reward points. You can get the credit card. So there are 3 Chase personal Southwest credit cards and 1 business version of the Southwest credit card. And I recommend waiting until the sign-up bonus is at least 50,000 points or higher. If you're looking to get any of the Southwest credit cards, I recommend waiting until it's at least 50,000 points. Another way you could get the Southwest points would be to get Chase credit cards. As I mentioned before, the Chase Sapphire Preferred, Chase Sapphire Reserve, and Chase Ink Preferred all have Chase Ultimate Reward points that transfer over to Southwest Airlines at a 1-to-1 ratio, completely free. So if you have any Chase points, use them for Southwest Airlines. And if you want to learn how I was able to save over $3,000 on this trip going to the Bahamas and Florida, you could click this link over here. It shares with you every single detail and receipts and strategies of how I was able to save over $3,000 to go to a place like this. And I'll see you in the next video.